To put it mildly, yes, the college was in a financial challenging situation, to put it mildly. Um, so within the last 12 months, especially the last 6 months, significant steps were taken to reset expenses versus revenues. Um, and positions were cut, expenses were cut, a zero-based budgeting process was installed and initiated, which we are under this year. So what I found was a place that had gone from significant financial challenges to a stable position that we can manage. Doesn't mean everything's great, doesn't mean we're where we want to be. In fact, we have a small financial gap we still have to manage this year, but we will. That's on me and cabinet to maintain our expenses where they are, not to raise them. And really where we're focused now is on revenues, increasing revenues. Fortunately, our incoming freshman class exceeded budgeted enrollment projections. Not by a ton, but it did exceed them. It's on the right side of that. So that helped the budget coming in. The freshman class is a little larger than last year, and also the net tuition revenue was better than projected. So you put those things together, and that helps. And so right now where we are is we are certainly in a manageable budget situation for this year. We need growth, and we're focused on enrollment growth and retention, the two keys to our operating budget. So that's on us to manage that. I'm focusing a lot on enrollment because that's where my history as a coach, recruiting. So I like it, I understand it, and I see that as our best opportunity to help stabilize and actually grow our financial situation. I would not want to compare our financial stability to 10 years ago because our enrollment was still significantly higher 10 years ago than it is now. And as you know, in this business, things are slow developing. And so our facilities were built to 1,400 or more. A lot of our staffing, faculty and staff, was built around that size enrollment. And we're not there. We're under 1,000. So that's where resetting needed to happen and did. And it happened on the staff side. No faculty were let go. No programs, academic programs were dropped. So the focus was on where we could find savings, and that really was on the staff side is where that came. Also some voluntary retirements were in there as well. But I don't think it would be accurate for me to compare where we are now to 10 years ago. And this situation really is within the last few years when enrollment really dropped off. A couple of very small freshman classes, 3, 4, 5 years ago, that catch up with you over your 4-year span. So
hit the COVID years, right?
Absolutely, yeah, right. So you add COVID into it, which was hard for all higher ed. We know that. But it certainly hit us a lot. And as I look back and look at the situation, I don't think that as we were feeling the impacts of COVID, that at that time that the college made the adjustments and resets to manage that. And now we've had to do it, and it caught up with us. Is the mission of the value of a liberal arts education, I don't think it's changed at all. And in fact, I think in some ways we're kind of coming around to realizing it may be more important than ever. One of the interesting quotes I heard in a meeting with state level people and presidents recently was that the liberal arts education teaches students what AI can't do. And that's just a simplification, but it's one example of how all the values you learn here, the skills of critical thinking and communication and being able to speak on your feet and adapt and adjust. And all those things become even more important. And whether you're an English major or a philosophy major or a business major, you're going to get those skills here and in the liberal arts education. So I think in many ways, the mission is as important as ever. Now, I will say, coming back after 10 years, I absolutely feel and see differences and changes. One is teaching has changed. Since I remember, I've been able to sit in some classes and so impressed with our faculty, how they use technology. My remembrance of technology in classes 10 years ago was it kind of clunky and maybe almost awkward and in the way. I'm sure COVID helped refine and improve all of that, but now I see it as it just helps engage students. It drives the whole conversation faster and more organized, and just it was so impressive to see what I found. We're much better and much more focused on experiential learning and really learning by doing. And regardless of the course and regardless of the department. We all think about that with the Center for the Environment and those kinds of classes, but in English, in chemistry, and of course chemistry, I had a great experience with a student when I met with the chemistry department. She was actually across the hall running a lab. She was literally doing an experiment while I was there. And it was so fun to listen to her experience. She had just spent last summer at Montana State University doing graduate level work. She's a junior here. All the other students were graduate students. And I asked her, how did you manage to do that? She said, because that's the level of what we do here that they can't do and don't do at some of these other schools. So that was pretty fun to see. I'm certainly comfortable with the campus, with the environment, the culture, the history of the college. There's a lot of new people, which is fun to see and to meet. My listening tour of the last 8 weeks has been with every faculty, academic department, and every staff and their department, because I want to see with my own eyes and hear with my ears where we are right now, and what people are doing, what they're seeing and feeling. A lot of exciting stories. Academics are stronger than ever. And the stories that I'm learning of what students are doing, what faculty are doing, our emphasis on learning by doing, on experiential learning, and more emphasis, I would say, on career readiness and even job readiness, which wasn't always the way in the past, I think, but it's current reality. And people are smart and they know what we need to do and where we need to be. Certainly, and to be fair, seeing some strains on staff because they're operating with a smaller team than they had 6 months ago. And this is the first semester they're having to fly the airplane with a smaller team. So that takes some adjusting. But people figure it out, roll their sleeves up, and we're finding a way. And I'm really excited about what I see of energy, enthusiasm. I didn't know what I was going to find there when I got on campus, and couldn't be more pleased with just the attitude that I found. People are, that everybody understands and wants us to succeed and thrive, and that we've all got to work together to do that. And that's really good to see. I've found the faculty's approach to this semester to be excellent. And you know, as you know, crisis brings people together, and that may or may not be the right word, but I think people have been through a lot in the last year and a lot of changes. So I think we may not all agree on everything, but we can be aligned that we're one team. Certainly easy for me to see and understand the importance of that. What would Washington College be without a successful Chestertown, and what is Chestertown like without a thriving Washington College? So those two, we understand that piece of it. What's always been the challenge is the details and implementation of how you make that work together. And I know lots of things have been tried over the years, so I don't want to overpromise in the beginning on anything, but no one has to convince me of the value and importance of that combination. And I think the more our waterfront campus has grown, makes it even more important, but also more opportunities for that to happen. I'm looking forward to Sue and I being able to entertain and open the Hinson Ringgold House to the community, especially over Christmas. We're already working on plans for that. I view that as just the crown jewel of the college, but also of Chestertown. And we both know lots of traditions that go way back with that. And so that's part of what I think we can do to actually try to build community. You know, for all the wonderful things that colleges do, and especially Washington College does, that's the fun part. Right now, more of my energy than I might like is focused around the business side of the college, because that's where we need to stabilize. We need to be able to support our people better than the college has been able to for the last couple of years. But I'm not uncomfortable with business and the business side of it. I haven't made any bones about the fact that I view Washington College as a mission-oriented business, not a passion project. And to me, that means that we need to pay our bills, pay our people, and support the mission, the academic mission of the college. And that takes resources. So I really am focusing my attention on growing our resources. And that doesn't happen overnight in this business. There's not quick fixes with that. But it's, again, one of the reasons why enrollment growth is really where I will spend a lot of my focus, along with all the other things you need to do in this position. But that's the best single opportunity I see, and so I'm really focused on that quite a bit. It's exciting. The Wareheim School of Business, that's a great opportunity for us. A wonderful alum donor has generously made a $15 million gift. Beth Wareheim is very generous. So that's driving, enabling us to build an exciting new building right as you come into campus. It'll be on your right, right in between the Casey Academic Center and before you get to the Kirby Stadium there, in that beautiful grove of trees. Right there. We took down some dorms that needed to be taken down a while ago. And so we're in the design phase now for the building. But it's really what goes into the building that's the most exciting. So that's enabling our business department, which is very strong now, but to think in terms of growth and expansion, new opportunities, also cross-departmental involvement in that. So this is a transformational opportunity for Washington College. They don't come along every day like this. And so that will enable us to compete in that market space different than we have been before. And obviously that's a growing space. And it's not just for business majors. It's for students across all departments and majors. And so many students now double major and minor. So they're very smart about taking advantage of opportunities across departments and across the campus. But the Wareheim School of Business is going to be a major advantage and driver for us. I want to be transparent about challenges, but positive, and leave a positive impression, because I really believe that. I mean, we're for all the doom and gloom, we're going to be okay. I'm just not a very patient person. So I want us to get our ship. I mean, right now, our ship is stable. So at first I'm not taking the job and have this go down on my watch, but I'm past worrying about that. That's not going to happen in not what I can see for foreseeable future. But it doesn't mean anything's easy, as we know. We have things that I see that are unique to us, because everybody's good. We have 11 schools in the Centennial Conference. They're all great schools, and they've all got great professors and great programs. None of them have the Chester River. None of them have a CES, environmental studies, environmental science like we do. None of them have the Star Center or the Lit House. Where I have to be careful is if I just focus on those here, that drives a lot of angst, to put it nicely, with the rest of the faculty. I get that. So I have to be careful. Now, but those are some of our unique marketing tools. So from a strictly recruiting point of view, we've got to play those up because that's different. That's our difference.
It defines you.
It does. So maybe if we just talk a little bit about what I feel is some differentiators. I mean, the biggest one I'll go to is the Chester River. None of the other schools in the conference have a riverfront campus, which I believe we can claim that legitimately, because we do. Thinking about what makes Washington College different from our competitors. I remember the day my dad and I came to look at Washington College, driving over the bridge, seeing Chestertown from the water for the first time, coming into Chestertown, then coming up to campus, and falling in love with a riverfront historic town right away. And then the historic buildings on campus, the feel, the vibe of the college. But when I think about what really separates us, there's 11 schools in the Centennial Conference, and they're all great schools. And every year, the athletic directors, which I was for 25 years, we would have a retreat at the end of the year at one of the colleges we would host. So I hosted it twice in my time. And both times, Kelly McIntyre was gracious enough to take us on a sunset dinner cruise down the river and back. And at the end of the cruise, both times, all 10 of the other athletic directors came to me and said, I want to trade. I want your job. I want to move here. I want to live here. And of course I said, no, I don't want to trade with any of you. We have a beautiful Chester River. We have a riverfront campus. We have academic programming, social, athletic programming, co-curricular programming in a beautiful environment that none of those other 10 wonderful colleges have, or a whole lot of other colleges in a 3-hour driving radius of here that are small, private, liberal arts colleges that are all good colleges. But we have our own uniqueness, our own special things about us that makes us very different. And I really believe rooted in the river and Chestertown and the history of the college and the town together. None of those colleges go back to 1782. We know that for a fact because we are the first college in this new nation. None of those colleges have George Washington as one of their founders and who gave his name and was on our board. The history that we have is truly unique. And yet the things we're doing today that are different than our competitors as well just makes us a really special, unique, wonderful opportunity.